Hi, I'm Alan Sowden from Chapman, and Moore, and I'm here to present our budget highlights. Obviously, it's been a very unusual year, and the budget was designed to help stimulate the economy in the short term, and we started to see some details of how the tax revenue is going to repay all the borrowing in the medium term. A welcome benefit is the increase in the self-employed income support scheme to people who were first self-employed in 2019-20. What hasn't gained the headlines is the reason this is happening technically is that the basis period for the grants 4 and 5, covering the periods February to April and May through to September, are based on the 2019-20 tax returns for everyone. So even if you claimed grants 1 to 3, the basis on which you qualify or not is changed. So if you didn't qualify for the first 3 grants because your profits were too high or your profits were too low compared to your other income, that should be revisited for the 4th and 5th grants. We also have the restart grants and the rates holidays for the leisure, hospitality and retail sectors, which will be very well received. As with all the grants received so far, these will be administered through your local authority. So please keep an eye on your local authority's website for details of when those become available. Obviously, there's cash flow benefit in getting those as soon as possible. Furthermore, grants will also be made available on a discretionary basis to businesses which don't fit those criteria, particularly where they have premises costs. So if your business has been affected by the coronavirus and you're not going to be eligible for the basic grants, please do consider making an application for discretionary payment from your local authority. The worst that can happen is you're told no. The big headline for tax was the corporation tax increase due to come in 2 years' time. This is to be 25% for companies with profits over 250,000. Companies with profits under 50,000 aren't affected and will stay at 19%, with a marginal rate of 26.5% if you move from 50 up towards 250. The positive side of this is it gives greater tax refund expenditure if you're in that marginal band. So if you're considering making extra pension contributions, making discretionary expenditure on websites and other such matters, the tax benefits of doing that will be greater post-April 23 than they are now. The other big headline was the so-called super deduction, which is basically an enhanced capital allowance. For every £100 you spend on plant and machinery, you'll get tax refund 130. This gives an effective 24.7% corporation tax relief, again making it much cheaper to invest in new machinery. If you're planning on investing in machinery before the end of March, which people like me would often encourage you to do, you may wish to consider delaying this expenditure to increase your tax relief thereon. This does come at the expense of delaying the tax relief for a year, assuming you have a March year end. The final main item within corporation tax is also effective for the self-employed and partners of partnerships, which is an increase to the loss relief. Generally speaking, when you make a loss, you're able to offset that against the one previous year's profits. Anything which can't be relieved in that way is carried forward to offset against future profits. It was announced in the budget that losses of up to £2 million will be able to be carried back for up to 3 years, meaning making it much more likely your relief can result in an immediate tax repayment of amounts you've already paid, or for debts to be written off if those tax amounts aren't paid yet. This is for losses made in the tax years 2020 to 21 and 2021 to 22. So in other words, this year we're currently in and next year. So that will give many businesses who may have made significant losses despite the various grants that are unavailable to be able to at least recoup some cash fairly promptly. The key with that, of course, is to prepare your accounts and tax return promptly to facilitate that tax rebate. The final point I really want to dwell on is the new loan scheme which has been announced. This differs to the bounce back loan and coronavirus business interruption loan scheme in that it's designed not only to manage cash flow businesses which are otherwise viable but struggling through the pandemic, but is specifically allowed to provide for investment in new machinery, future growth, etc. So this is a very welcome financial assistance from the government. It would take a similar form to Sybil's, 80% government guarantee, no personal guarantee on the first £250,000 they lend, and the banks won't be able to take a charge over your personal residence. The big difference between the civils and bounce back loans in this new scheme is that, as far as we've seen to date, there'll be no interest-free period where that's paid by the government and no payment holidays. So those terms will be less attractive, but it's still a very welcome source of new finance as businesses hopefully seek to grow through this period of recovery. Thank you very much for your time in listening to me speak. And if you'd like to hear any more, please do get in touch with us. Thank you.